Hello and welcome back to my channel. I want to start today by just sharing something with you that we were shown at group this morning. It's a no alcohol version of Prosecco and it's called No Secco. You can buy it currently in Asda for £2.99 I believe. So for anybody who wants to drink, maybe they're driving, maybe they want to cut down on sins, it's actually 2 sins for 125 mils as opposed to Prosecco, which is 5 sins. So you can have a glass for 2 sins or a bottle for 12 sins. And it's really nice, very sort of elderflowery, slurry, bubbly, nice, pleasant drink. And I think with Easter and everything coming up and then the summer, it'll be something that can come in quite handy. The other thing I want to share with you at the start of today's video is just a recipe that came to me from years and years ago. When I was in my early 20s, I used to work in insurance and I used to go to the gym every lunchtime, 5 days a week, believe it or not. I can't believe it now looking back, but it's 40 years ago. And I always used to do my workout and then have my lunch at the gym. And the lunch I used to have at the gym was scrambled egg with tuna and salad. And it just brought it to mind this week when we were shopping and Joe showed me cartons of egg white. Can you show that, Joe? Yeah. And then I bought John West no drain tuna. Can you show that? The reason I buy the John West no drain, I know it's more expensive, but I don't like wet soggy tuna and I would never buy tuna chunks because it's all the sort of soggy bitty bits. If you're going to use it in a crustless quiche or something like that, I suppose it's fine. But on a salad or anything, I prefer to have something that's more fishy and meaty and solid. So can you just shake that tin, Joe, in front of the camera? Oh. Like that. You can hear inside there is one solid steak of tuna. It's not mush. Right, so this is my idea to try going back to this week, the recipe I used to have 40 years ago. You scramble 2 or 3 eggs, complete eggs. You add a couple of 100 mils, yeah, of egg white, Joe?
It comes in grams.
Grams, so 200 grams of egg white?
Yeah.
The reason I'm doing this, 2 or 3 eggs and a couple of 100 grams of egg white, is because all the fat in the eggs is in the yolk. So 2 or 3 yolks is plenty for me to be having, but I like a big portion of scrambled egg. So adding extra egg white adds more protein, gives more filling power. That's my logic. You might not get it, but I get it. So you scramble your eggs as normal. If you want to sin a teaspoon of butter to get them started, that's probably what I would, sin a teaspoon of some sort of fat to get them started. And when your eggs are almost done, then you just crumble your tuna into the hot egg, but keep stirring so it all amalgamates together. Then sprinkled black pepper, served over salad, fabulous. Now I know that's an SP meal, you could bung a jacket potato with it if you wanted to make it extra easy, or some chips if you like Slimming World chips.
I think that would go nice with rice.
You think it would go nice with rice?
Yeah, because tuna and
we
rice
like tuna and rice, don't we? Yeah. So yeah, there, you could add rice or even noodles if you want to make it into an EE meal. Talking of SP, the next recipe book that's coming out at Slimming World is going to be a totally SP recipe book. I find that quite interesting. I don't do SP very often, I might do the odd meal occasionally, but I know some people do enjoy it and some people benefit from doing it. And under the new SP plan, with your 2 healthy extra A's, your 1B and you're up to 10 sins, some people are getting fantastic results with it. So that's just a thought. That is going to come out in, I think it's May, with the 12-week countdown, and then it'll follow on as its own recipe book. In group this morning, Raffle, one of our raffle prizes was the Pinch of Nom cookery book, which came out earlier this week. And Naomi was saying she's done a couple of recipes from it and she's really, really enjoying it. Now I think Pinch of Nom have done it so that it fits really well with Slimming World and with Weight Watchers. They're not being like patriotic to one company over the other. Is that the right word, patriotic? Probably not. But anyway, there are no sin values in there because of course they can't put sin values in because they're not Slimming World. But Naomi was saying it's very easy to actually follow the recipes and work out the sin values for yourself. So yeah, we had it as one of our raffle prizes this morning, and the lady who won it was really pleased to have it. So it is available on Amazon at £10. Yeah, right, let's talk about my week. Now I'm going to tell you one other thing first. One of the things I've been struggling with for the past Lord knows how many weeks is my hair has kind of really slowed down in its growth. Years ago, before I came to Slimming World, so I've been at Slimming World nearly 4 years, I always wore my hair in a kind of shoulder length bob, and I would have to have it cut every 3-4 weeks at a push to keep it in a really good straight bob because my hair grows so fast. But I've noticed that over the last maybe 6 or 8 months I'm having my hair cut every 6 or 7 weeks because it's just not growing the same. Now, I don't know what I'd put this down to. It could just be age, could be being postmenopausal and all these sort of things. There's 100 reasons, aren't there, for everything. But I was watching one of my favourite YouTube channels this week, and it's a channel called The Tribe of Many. It's about a family in America, and they're really lovely, and they've got 9 kids. But I actually enjoy watching them. I love their enthusiasm and the way they parent their kids and everything. And it's unusual for me because the only other lifestyle vlog I've ever watched is Saucony Jolie's, and I really like Jonathan in that. But I've taken to the husband in Tribe of Many. And one of the things Sarah in that was talking about was biotin, which is a part of your vitamin B complex, and how biotin has beneficial qualities for your skin and your hair. And so in my wisdom, I went to the health food shop. Can you get it? It's in the basket side of my chair, Jen, down there. I went to the health food shop on Wednesday or Thursday and I bought some biotin. I bought the best one they had because I thought if I'm going to try this, this was £13.25. You're showing it now?
Yeah.
£13.25 for 50 tablets. I thought I'll give it 50 days and see if it does any good. Now one of the problems I've been having is A, my hair has not been growing very well. Most unusual for me because I could grow my hair long very quickly when I was young. B, I've been getting 1 or 2 spots, like here, just here. I can feel them now. And to say I never get a spot is a very fair comment because I've never struggled with spots or skin problems of any kind. I've always been very fortunate in that. I never struggled with teenage spots or anything, hormonal spots or anything like that, which I know some people do. That's never been one of my issues. I have other problems. But I started using this biotin, like I think this is day 4. And I feel like I'm exaggerating, but I know I'm not, when I say I can already feel the difference. My hair feels more like my hair again, even after 3 or 4 days. And maybe it is, maybe it's the placebo effect or something, but I'm going to carry on using it for the 50 days and I will try and remember to report back to you at the end of the 50 days. But yeah, I don't know whether I'm putting this down to the amount of weight I've lost, whether I'm putting it down to the fact that I'm well beyond the menopause and stuff like that, so hormonal changes and everything. But anything that gets my hair growing again would be a bonus. So I wanted to share that in case anybody else feels like they might have the same kind of needs that I've got. So now I'll go on to talk about my week. I kind of got this feeling and this thought going on in my head over the last week or so, because I honestly thought I could see a pattern emerging in my weight results. If we think back 4 weeks to when I had all those meals out, but then I got the weight loss, didn't I? So I had all those meals out and then I think I lost ½ a pound that week and I was quite stunned. The following week, bang on plan, gained 2 pounds. Then I had the chocolate incident, didn't I? Went through, that was on the Saturday, the following Saturday I got weighed, lost £1. Incredible result, very unexpected. So, because of that happening, and thoughts and feelings and everything welling up inside me, I really, really expected a gain this week. Even though I've been fine with my food, but at the back of my head, my mentality is still diet. And all week I've been thinking, if I only had one A choice, if I only had 7 or 8 sins, if I didn't do this, if I didn't do that. And being honest with you, this week I have really had to make myself eat on plan and not skip meals and cut down and avoid things. And because I was feeling the way I feel, I know for me, I have to really fight against myself sometimes. So I made a decision this week, 2 healthy extra A's. We're not going back to permanently 1. I will go back to 1 healthy extra A if I feel I need to shed some weight. Yeah? So this week, 2 healthy extra A's, and then sin the rest of a litre of milk, which is 3 sins for me. 1 healthy extra B, which boringly is my all brown, but I have bought some brown flakes this week. And where I would usually have only 2 pieces of fruit a day, some days this week I've had 3 or 4. Because I knew that I had to fight against that mental attitude that was saying, you're not good enough, you can't lose weight, you need to diet, you just, basically it's you're not good enough. You know, my own mind tells me so often, you're not good enough, you can't do this, you're going to fail. And I don't know whether this happens to anybody else, but sometimes that voice inside your head is so much bigger than your own natural thinking. It's almost like there is somebody back here going, let me just tap you and remind you, you're not good enough. So, I stuck to that, 2 A's, 1 B, 15 sins every day this week. And every day as the week goes on, I have been like, my jeans are getting tighter. I really feel like I'm gaining weight. And I've said it to you, haven't I, Joe?
Yeah.
Several times this week. I can feel the weight going on. I really feel like I'm gaining weight. But no, Jane, stop it. You're not on a diet. You can't go back to being the stupid woman you used to be, and don't eat and don't drink and don't eat the day before weigh day and all the daft things you've done over the years. Just carry on. This plan works. So what did I do? I carried on every day this week. 2 A's, 1 B, 15 sins. And I went to group this morning and I was talking to this lovely lady called Maureen, and I actually met her outside the group and went in with her this morning. And I was talking to her and I said, oh, Maureen, I can feel it in my clothes. I felt like I got a muffin top. I felt everything. Okay. I said, if I haven't gained weight this week, I just feel it. And talking to the lady at the weigh desk, and she said, what do you think you've done? I said, I feel like I've gained 1/2 stone. But whatever's happened, I've stuck to plan, and I have to just keep going. And I got on the scales and I lost 1/2 pound. And this is where I am still learning. That voice in my head tries to deceive me, tries to con me, tries to fool me, tells me I'm not good enough, tries to knock me off plan. And when I have a week like I've had this week, I could have so easily given in to that voice and said, you're right, I'm not good enough. You're right, I can't do this. You're right, it's time for me to go back up to 22 stone. Because if I'm 22 stone and I'm not losing weight, then I'm not failing. And there are some times when I can just feel like such a failure. And I don't know where it comes from. So, can you show my book, Joe, is my result for this week? I feel it's fair to do this because then you know it's a genuine result. So I lost 1/2 pound this week, and nobody was more surprised than me. And yet, logically, I was on plan, 100% on plan. Did anybody watch the video last night that Nikki Ryan put up, how I lost 3 stone in 3 months? And no doubt some of you will have, and those of you who haven't, I'd recommend you go watch it. Incredible woman, incredible. And she talks about in that, you know, actually being totally committed. How she did it was what she ate, but how she got the results she got was by being 100% committed. But she tells it in such a way that you can see it's not deprivation. And one of the things that she said, which has stuck with me is she doesn't like it when people say on plan or off plan. And I think because I just said I've been totally on plan. She's right, it's a lifestyle, it's not a diet. A diet is something you're on or you're off. A lifestyle is the way you live every day. And I need to keep reminding myself of that. I've actually saved that video. And I don't watch many Slimming World videos, if I'm honest. I don't have time. But when something from Nikki Ryan comes up, I watch it. Because she's taught me so much over the 4 years I've been around Slimming World. Right. I want to just briefly talk about comments, when we put comments on people's channels. And I'm not complaining. I'm not saying, oh yeah, don't put this on my channel, or I will never take a comment down from my channel. I'll never remove a comment from my channel, because everybody has a right to be heard. And if somebody wants to voice an opinion, and I've got this public platform that I put myself in this place, and so I'm never going to take a comment down from my channel because I don't like it, or because it offends me or upsets my sensibility or something. But I do feel this week that I want to not comment back, because I already answered the comment, but it brought up some stuff in me that I want to talk about. So it was actually a very positive thing has come out of the comment. A lady called Diane comments on my channel, and I'm not naming and shaming. That's not why I'm saying a lady called Diane. You can see the comment, it's up there. And she's talking about what I shared about what I had done with the chocolate last week. And I quite see her point of view. I don't agree with it, but I quite see where she's coming from. Because what I did was flush the chocolate down the toilet. That was for my own sanity and my own safety. One of the things Diane says in the comment is I could have given it away. The truth of the matter is I actually had 5 Easter eggs, or we had 5 Easter eggs in the house. I chose to keep that one. Joe took the other 4 to the homeless shelter in West Bridgford, which is the nearby town, because that's the sort of thing Joe does. Joe's regularly there donating food and clothing and stuff. We don't just throw things away for the sake of throwing things away. And another thing that came out of what Diane said, which again I'm not complaining about, I'm just highlighting what brought up in me, is it's very easy to judge somebody else's outsides from your insides. So when I meet somebody, I might meet somebody who's very, very attractive and very slim and very glamorous, and I might, come across that person and I might think, oh God, she's got an easy life. Look at the quality of her clothes. Look at her fantastic hairdo. That's not a cheap hairdo. Look at her makeup. That's MAC, isn't it? Or Charlotte Tilbury. Do you know what I mean? I am judging that person's outsides by my insides. And it's quite a dangerous thing to do, because you do not know what's going on in somebody else's life. That girl could be struggling with all sorts of things. She could be going through a broken marriage. She could have just had a miscarriage. She could have just been diagnosed with cancer. This happens in everyday life. So one of the things I've learned over a lot of years, which has come out of Alcoholics Anonymous for me, is be very careful not to judge somebody else's outsides by your insides. The reason I say this about Diane's comment is because Diane actually says she would love it if somebody actually gifted her a £12 Easter egg, which is fair comment, and I did offer to do that very thing. So Diane knows that if she drops me an email with a name and address, I would be more than happy to make sure she got that egg. The one other thing that came out of the comment was that if the friend who had bought me the egg, I can't remember the exact wording, but I was being really disrespectful. She firstly starts by saying I'm rude, which is fine. I've probably been very rude very many times in my life. But if the person who had gifted me that egg was a friend who was watching my video, then I'm being, I think, very disrespectful or whatever. Something I've learned, and I shared this with my friend Susan a few weeks ago, something I've learned over a lot of years, and I think this has come to me through being older now, is about gifts. I remember when I used to belong to a church locally, and there was a family in our church who had very tight financial situations. They were lovely family. And one of the things they needed, basically, was to pay some bills to get out of debt that was new debt, but had come about through loss of a job and different things. This can happen to any of us, can't it? And I talked to my husband at the time, and I decided that I had some cash which I could give them, because I know that if ever I was in a situation like that, I've got friends who would bail me out without thinking about it. And I have been in situations in the past, and I've had people anonymously put money through my letterbox. Honestly, I have. This is the way real life works. We're all here, we can help each other. So I made a decision to write a cheque and give it to this family, and I did that. And then the following week at church, the lady said to me, "Oh, I chose to buy some tiles from my pantry floor with that money you gave us." And I was like, "Oh, lovely." And when I got home, I talked to my husband about it, and I was like, how very dare she? I gave them that X amount of whatever, it was quite a lot of money, because I wanted them to be able to get out of this debt situation and have something positive to move forward and feel loved and feel cared for and all these things. And my husband went, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. You gave someone a gift. Once they had received it, it was theirs. And when something is yours, you choose what to do with it. You don't ever give someone a gift for them to have to spend it on what you intend, and you put in your stamp on it and your agendas on it. If that's your attitude for controlling people, then don't give gifts, because you're doing it wrong. Your attitude should be to love somebody. So if somebody gives me a gift, whether it's a £12 egg or a £100 bottle of perfume or a bunch of flowers or anything, I mean, these are all gifts I've been given this year, then once I've received it, it's mine to do with exactly as I please. And years ago, I remember when we got married, we had 7 vases for wedding presents, right? 7 lovely vases from 7 lovely families. I don't do vases. And you know, I kept those vases for years and years and years, cluttering up the shelf under my kitchen sink. 7 vases. I have one vase that I use, which was my grandma's. It's 100 years old. It took me years to let go of those 7 vases. Do you know why? Because I lived in such a silly place that I used to think, well, Caroline comes round, that's my friend Caroline Dixie, if Caroline comes round, I must put a bunch of flowers in her vase so she knows I use it. And if Debbie comes round, I must put a bunch of flowers in her vase so she knows I use it. I very, very rarely buy flowers. I like them outside. And I think that after about 10 years, they would remember which vase they bought me. And could I really remember which vase they bought me? And when I realised that I was just being like a people pleaser, I made a decision, very much so after what my husband had said about me gifting somebody money and then thinking I could dictate what they spent it on. I made a decision that once somebody gives me a gift and it then becomes my property, I have a right to choose what I do with it. And once I give someone a gift and it becomes their property, they have a right to choose what to do with it. A few months ago, I made the decision to sell all of my jewellery because it was all too big. I used to have an 8 or an 8.5 inch bracelet, and now I have a 6. And I had jewellery that my parents had bought me, that my grandparents had bought me, that my husband had bought me, that old boyfriends had bought me, and that. And I took it and I sold the lot. And I don't feel any guilt for doing that because it was just material possessions that I could no longer use. So I had them in a jewellery box that was no use to me or anybody else. And that's very much my attitude to stuff today. And that's very much my attitude to an Easter egg. It was a nice idea when somebody bought it me. It's very kind of them to think of me. But once I took possession of that egg, that chocolate became mine. And if I thought the best place for it was down the toilet, then the best place for it was down the toilet. But touching on comments and leaving comments on people's channel, I want to say I'm really grateful because I get some brilliant ideas from the things. Kirsty left a comment and very much was talking about what I was building up in my head as being a new pattern emerging with weight going on a week later. And she was talking about eating chocolate and then it can show later and stuff like that. It's so good that people voice what happens to them, because somebody else other than me might read that comment and think, I really relate to that. That is what happens to me. I know I'm not alone.
Sorry, we're at 25 minutes.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. So the comments section of my channel is really valuable to me. But you won't change me by telling me I'm rude, or I should be doing this, or I shouldn't be doing that. Because I am so comfortable and confident in the woman I am today. For the first time in my life, I am proud and strong and positive and generous and kind and thoughtful and not rude. So I needed to say that. Yeah, it's on a public platform. It was a public comment. But I just needed to say that today. Don't let anybody else's words damage you. Don't take to heart what other people say, because you don't know why. I haven't taken to heart what Diane said for the simple reason I don't know where Diane's at. I don't know Diane's insides. You know, she has a perfect right to feel all of those things. And maybe it's a good platform for getting out how we're feeling and stuff we struggle with. But it's been an okay week, apart from I've been battling with my head all week. And I think it's time I laid it down and just carried on, doing my plan, enjoying my food and getting on with my life. So I had 5 nights on the sofa this week because we were waiting for a new bed to be delivered. Went back into my own bed last night, and could I sleep? I've been awake since 3 o'clock this morning thinking it was time to get up. So I'm actually winding down now and starting to feel a bit tired. But I have things to do, and hopefully a good walk this afternoon, and that will liven me up. So have a great week, everybody. Stick to plan where you can. And remember, it works if you work it. It won't if you don't. Cheers.